Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Izzat. I will be presenting on the article critique. I am representing Group 4. First of all, from the literature review, we found out that the most of the citation is actually too old. Almost 90% of the articles or journals cited ranging from the late 90s to 2010. Meanwhile, the article is dated from 2017. Suppose they need to have more citation with only few years back to show the relevancy of the data. The second one from the literature review is the explanation of the literature review is rather general, not citing the dimension or even the elements stated. The literature review, this is supported by the literature review must provide guidelines for conducting a systematic review and meta-analysis in social science from the Snyder 2019.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Emir, and for this article critique, I will be presenting my review on the methodology and some of the summary of the result based on the article that we have read. In summary, the researcher uses descriptive study in the research. The research intention was to study the relationship of working environment towards job satisfaction among 3 different industries. The number of responses received was 210. The companies which are selected are from 3 different industries, and the questionnaire was self-administered by hand and emails. My first critique was on the population selection. The researcher did not specify the reason for selection company located in Hyderabad. In the introduction and literature review, it does not explain the rationale and problem pertaining to employee satisfaction in the location of the research. It will be better if the researcher can identify issues or gaps pertaining to the culture and working environment in the city of Hyderabad. Next is random sampling technique. The population comes from 3 different segments of industries, which are banking, telecommunication, and education. A random sampling technique was applied in the research, but based on our reading, the best sampling technique should be to use a cluster sampling. Third is sample size. The number of respondents received were 210, but the researcher did not state the population size before determining the sample size. The researcher chooses 80 respondents for each sector. The research did not mention any article or literature used to determine a reliable sample size based on the size of population. The research should include tables to determine the sample size like Sakaran or Krashe and Morgan 1970. Due to this, we cannot determine if the number of respondents received is best to represent the population. The fourth one is difference in working environment. We also would like to address the issue with merging and identifying satisfaction of job in different industries. There is a reliability issues using 3 different sectors as the working environment of each sector is diversely different. As mentioned in the introduction section, the working environment was explained by 2 dimensions, which is work and context. In different sector or industry, each has its own distinguished physical working condition. The researcher fails to address the difference between the financial, telecommunication, and education sector. The fifth is questionnaire. The researcher did not explicitly define any demographic details in the data analysis, thus concerning whether demographic section is included in the instrument. And the last one in terms of methodology is the rating scale. The questionnaire also uses a 5 Likert scale. Even though 5 Likert scale is most popular and broadly used, we suggest is to use a 7 to 11 Likert scale as it provides a more reliable result from the respondent.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shazli Hidayat, and I'll start my critique to this article on the results discussion and implications. Based on my readings on this article, I found out that there is an inconsistency between the data analysis output and the scaling technique that the researchers claim in their methodology. As written in the methodology, they use 5-point Likert scale, and the range starts from not at all satisfied, dissatisfied, neither, somewhat satisfied, and completely satisfied. However, in their data analysis and interpretation on question number 1, they only display 4 outputs, which are the very satisfied, not satisfied, somewhat satisfied and satisfied. There was no neutral point written in their data analysis on question 1. A Likert scale is a common way to get feedback on how strongly people feel about the topic. The scale centers around a neutral option, so researchers can uncover the different degrees of opinion that people have on a particular topic. Without the presence of a neutral option, respondents who wish to be neutral in their response were forced to choose whether to be in the dissatisfied region or satisfied region. On question number 2, the researchers repeated the inconsistency in tabling their output. The outcome table only show 3 rating categories, with only one category represent the not satisfied region, while the other 2 categories represent satisfied region. This is not consistent with the 5-point Likert scale, which the researchers claim they use in their methodology. This unbalanced scale has again forced the respondents with neutral response to choose whether to be in the dissatisfaction region or in the satisfaction region.
Next, I will be touching on the result that we have gathered, that we have studied from the article review. So, in summary, the researcher uses different statistical tables to show the relationship between working environment and job satisfaction. The respondents were asked to answer 6 questions in the questionnaire. Our first finding is the researcher did not include a reliability test. Thus, we can determine the range of association of the working environment and job satisfaction. Our proposal is the researcher should include table of coefficient range, like table used by Maknawi in 2020, like the alpha coefficient range and the relation to the range of association between 0.6 to 0.9. Other than that, the researcher should also include descriptive analysis, regression analysis, and most important is the correlation analysis. In the result, for question 3, the researcher only uses inferential statistics to explain the relationship between job satisfaction. Even if the interval scale can be used for frequency, however, it only represents statistical data compared to the actual range of agreement. Aside to percentage analysis, the researcher should include correlation analysis since the scale collected are interval. The question is regarding career development opportunity. However, the interpretation is on employee interaction with each other. The items do not relate to the research objective. For question 4, the question and scale recorded for this question is nominal. Compared to other questions and scales specified, the researcher clearly mentioned the use of 5 points Likert scale in the questionnaire. However, this question shows the inconsistency in the questionnaire content and structure. Our recommendation is the researcher should be consistent and only use one type of scale technique. For question 5, based on its result, 57.5% provided neutral responses. Although a neutral responses is recorded in the Likert scale, the researcher did not provide a justification for majority choosing the neutral option. According to many research and studies, if majority chooses neutral option, it can be assumed as the question to be unrelated or confusing to the eyes of respondents. Thus, a reliability test can further determine its correlation.
Next one is on the question 6. In the question 6, as in the figure, there is no caption but title only, which state the number of respondents. This result to the confusion for other readers or researchers. According to Rogier and others from 2014, where they're describing an experimental setup, introducing a new model, or presenting new result, you cannot explain everything within the figure itself. A figure should be accompanied by a caption. The caption can be written as Figure 1, number of respondents towards job satisfaction dimensions. Next one is on the question 7. As shown in the graph, the figure Q7 percentage and the number of respondents has been combined in a one stack column, which again may confuse the readers and misinterpret the data. The statement from the In and Lee from 2017, which claim the height or length of a bar represents the amount of information in a category. Okay, last but not least from me is to critique on the findings. It is stated in the third point for the question number 4, which majority, 70% of the respondents reveal that they are valued for the work that have been done. But in actual, at the figure Q4 above, it is stated actually the value is 72.5%. This can cause a lot of misinterpretation data to the researchers. This is supported by the bar chart and Veronica 2013. The data entry errors can have catastrophic effects on the results of a statistical analysis. Therefore, researchers often spend considerable effort checking their data. That's all from me. Thank you.
The suggestions of the researchers actually have qualities to be considered, albeit the data analysis show indication that the rating categories might force the respondents to skew to either one part of the scale. On that note, the rating categories of the scale need to be reassessed. A neutral rating scale is very important to be inserted and showed in the data analysis, as it serves as an avenue for respondents with neutral opinion to give the actual feedback. The researchers also mentioned in the conclusion that some respondents were hesitant to share their true opinions because they were afraid that their opinion will be known by the management of the company. My suggestion is, in the future, researchers can also add a separate no opinion or not applicable option for respondents who hesitant to share their true response. And by doing this, the researchers will also be able to distinguish between respondents with genuine neutral opinion and those without clear answer to any particular question. The suggestions by researchers can be categorized into three main topics, which are communication enhancement, upskill training modules, and work recognition. On that note, I would like to suggest two more factors to be considered, which are the advancement of work facilities and also upgrading of physical appearance of the workplace. So these two suggestions can contribute to the improvement of work environment and also employee satisfaction, and eventually will help company to scale new heights.